You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Welcome to the Bungalow Sports Show. Didn't think we were going to make it this week. Got to turn my headphones down. Gonna be honest. Didn't think we were going to make it this week. Didn't think we were going to have an episode this week. Missed the live show yesterday. Missed Bungalow Fight Show on Thursday. Had to take a week off. Kid had pneumonia last week. Obviously, still had it through the weekend. Things are getting better. Halloween festivities last night, yesterday, Sunday, with my mom, and just cutting pumpkins and trying to do dad shit. And then just the accumulation of sleep deprivation because of the pneumonia, keeping the kid coughing up all night long. Finally, right when you hit that REM sleep, the coughing fit starts, and then you're up for an hour trying to help the kid stop coughing, and just a lot of just bullshit going on. And there are times in life where I try to remind you guys as much as possible to be passionate and do the things that make you happy aside from work, aside from your responsibilities. Make sure you make room in life for the things that truly bring you joy, make you happy, i.e. me doing these podcasts, making my music, things like that, having this studio to come out here and just fuck around whenever I want. But every once in a while you got to just take a step back and say, you know what? I need to pump the brakes a little bit because still not getting paid for this podcast. Therefore, if other things are really kind of making it a hindrance to come out here and do this, kid being sick, sleep deprivation, just feeling a little bummed out, just all the accumulation of last week, just really fucking with me yesterday on Sunday. And then also, having to make time for the kid to cut pumpkins with us, and just trying to be a good parent is way more important than bringing you this podcast live on Sunday nights or any other shows. And me, because I'm a complete psycho. Within 6 months of, less than 6 months of starting this show, I decided to go ahead and start the Bungalow Fight Show, start the Bungalow Hockey Show, and then I'm doing 3 shows a week, one of them trying to do it live, and I have this tendency of, once I see something that's working and see something that I like doing and see something that it seems like people like, I just double down and triple down, and then I just turn it into a big snowball of a fucking problem for me. And I need to sometimes just chillax, take a breather, step back, because then I feel like I've made a commitment to where now I gotta do this stuff, and it's just like, it's not a fucking commitment, not until somebody's writing me a paycheck, you know what I mean? So I digress. I just want to remind everybody out there that keep the things in your life that make you happy, but then also know when to kind of pull the reins back and just sink into real life and take care of business. And don't let the things that make you happy start to make you frustrated or sad, or like you don't have time and that you can't blah, blah, blah. I don't want this show to become a problem in my life. Therefore, sometimes I need to relax. But we're good now. Kid's back in school. He's good to go. He slept through the night last night without waking up coughing for an hour. I was able to catch up on some sleep. Seems like the wife was able to catch up on some sleep. We carved some goddamn pumpkins. Missed the live show yesterday, but you know what? As fate would have it, I got off early today, so I was able to make some time to do this show without it getting in the way of anything else today. So, hallelujah! Bungalow Sports Show. We're back this week. We'll be back also tomorrow with the brand new Bungalow Hockey Show, brand new Bungalow Fight Show on Thursday. We're back at it. Sometimes you just need to take a little bit of a breather, and I did that, and we're all good to go. With all that being said, this show is brought to you by Betalytics. Go to Betalytics.com, make a profile, see what they can offer you as far as good tips and tricks and parlays and information on to make smart bets. Go there, make a profile, use promo code PEAK1, get 25% off. And what else could be better? You'll make that money back in no time if you use the information given to you by Betalytics. Don't bet with your gut. Bet with Betalytics. We're also brought to you by League Swipe. They're back. They were here with us before fantasy football started to help you fantasy football commissioners. Now they're here again for fantasy hockey and fantasy basketball. Being a commissioner's hard. It can get complicated. It can get annoying. It can make you get burnt out, just like I was this last week with my stuff. Don't be that way. Don't let it get to you. Go to League Swipe, see what kind of tools they have to help you make your life easier as a fantasy commissioner. Let them know Peak One sent you, and hopefully they can help you out. We're also brought to you by ourselves. Go to bonfire.com/store/Peak1Sports, and you can get cool shirts like this Bungalow Sports Show shirt I am wearing right now. Also, the Bungalow Fight Show shirt. Also, the Pair of Fist with Skates Bungalow Hockey Show shirt. Shirts for all of our other shows on this network. Loosey Goosey Hockey Club shirts. And the brand new Don't Talk to Me While I'm Breaking F1 theme shirt that inspired by our young Joey. Obviously, Joey's not here today. We couldn't do I couldn't do the live one yesterday, and this was kind of a last minute thing, me doing this. But last week, Joey came in hot with an F1 corner and brought me this cool little saying: "Don't talk to me while I'm breaking." Inspired by Max Verstappen himself, the GOAT of F1. Go to the store and pick up your "Don't Talk to Me While I'm Breaking" shirt if you're a fan of F1. And last but not least, our brand new sponsor to the network, to the show, Shank It Golf. Go to shankitgolf.com. They've got some of the coolest golf apparel and accessories around. Baseball hats, polos, just gloves. They got some of the coolest shit, and it fits our style perfectly, not taking itself too serious. Golf sometimes takes itself a little too seriously, and Shank It Golf likes to bring levity to the situation. They've got the "You Suck" middle finger golf glove. They've got all kinds of cool hats, all kinds of cool polos, and just apparel in general. Go over there, and if you use promo code PEAK1, you get 15% off your order. So thank you, Shank It Golf. I know there's some listeners out there that are already fans of Shank It Golf and maybe have already purchased. Go back, make another purchase, and use our promo code PEAK1 and get 15% off. They've got some cool shit. And thank you, Shank It Golf, for joining the team here. Loosey Goosey update. Loosey Goosey had a hot buy last week. Here's our new graphic. It's got our win-losses. Thanks to Tim getting on my ass for not making a correct graphic. But we're coming in hot. Last two games of the season, before the playoffs, before the championship game. It's on. This is a 5-team league right now, so with an odd number and with limited days at our disposal. The way we don't do a proper playoff. We just take the teams that finish first and second, play on a championship game on the final night of the season. The other two teams play for the consolation prize. So all things being equal, if Loosey Goosey can pull out at least one win out of these next two games, we're going to be in that championship game. But we got a hot one against the Heat Waves coming up, who I subbed for last week, who picked up a shootout win with me on their bench. I'm not saying it was thanks to me. I mean, I'm not saying that, but and then November 8th, final game of the season against the only team to defeat the Geese this season, the Tigers. I mean, if the Tigers keep up their winning ways, it might be Tigers and then Tigers again in that championship game. You never know. Lots of parity happening in the Dirt League, and the Goose are happy to be part of it. And remember, go to bonfire.com/store/Peak1Sports to get your official Loosey Goosey Ice Hockey Club gear. NHL, the Sharks still suck. They still suck. I'd like to say no matter what they do, they're not doing anything. Same old, same old. They came out against the Capitals last night, picked up a quick goal in the first period, held it to the third, and then let 2 in and lost the fucking game. They just can't put it together. Nobody thought they were going to come out blowing the doors off the place, but we're the only team in the NHL without a win. All right? 0-7-1 to start the season. Jesus Christ! What are we supposed to do? I'll leave the hockey talking to the Bungalow Hockey Show. Tune in tomorrow for that. We'll get into the rest of the NHL, but I just have to let you guys know every week whether the Sharks suck or not. And this week the Sharks still suck. Grr! You know who doesn't suck is the New York Rangers and the Arizona Diamondbacks. And your boy, you can thank your boy if you're a Rangers fan, i.e. the suits at the Peak One Sports Network, i.e. a Diamondbacks fan, my buddy Ryan Avant. I told you guys weeks ago who I was pulling for. I told you guys weeks ago who was going to be in this World Series, the Texas Rangers, the Arizona Diamondbacks. Nobody believed me. But I said, no, this one's for my boys. This one's for my boys in the DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth area. This one's for my boy, Ryan. He plays the point. He plays the blue line defense for the Loosey Goosey Hockey Club. And he's a diehard Diamondbacks fan. I said, this World Series is for my boys, and I got him there. I'm not saying that, they couldn't have done it without me, but I'm saying I pushed. I gave them that little extra that I said, this one's for my boys. My boys are going to get their teams. And as of right now, as I'm recording this, as this goes up on the Peak One Sports Network, it's tied 1-1. It's a shootout, baby. This is going to be a World Series. I know people, the best teams aren't in it because the wild card sucks and the rules and the blah, blah, blah. Shut up. I'm tired of people making excuses for the best teams aren't in it. The best teams got beat. If you're the best team in baseball having a week off, and, we had too much time off, that's why we lost. Shut the fuck up. If you're that much better than the Rangers, if you're that much better than the Diamondbacks, fucking beat them. Beat them. I say it all the time. Whether it's MMA, it doesn't matter. It happens a lot in MMA with people saying, like, well, that guy's just a wrestler. He's just holding him on the ground. And then get the fuck up. If you're better than him, get the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? I say in the Dirt League, you got to play with the rules. They let us change on icing. They let us change. The clock keeps running because we're under a time limit. So you play with the rules that they give you. You're up by a goal, and there's 2 minutes left in the third period, and the puck's in your zone. Ice that motherfucker. They're not going to... The clock's going to keep running. If you're tired, they're going to let you change. They don't call that shit, so play with the rules. It ain't cheating. The MLB made the rules. These teams made it to the World fucking Series. If you're a fan of one of those teams who are the best team in the league all season, and then they get the short end of the stick because they had to take a week off because of the wild card. Shut up, you babies. You whiners. Maybe your team wasn't that good. Because if they were that good, they would have won the series. They didn't. Babies. All of you. My boys are in the World Series. I have no rooting interest other than my friends' teams being successful. And I got friends on both sides of this equation. So I'm just hoping for a Game 7. I'm hoping for a close series. I'm hoping for these teams to battle it out to take home the 2023 MLB World Series. Congratulations, Ashton, Tony, Landon, everybody in the DFW area who are Rangers fans. Congratulations, my buddy Ryan and all the other Diamondback fans out there. Let's just hope for a good series. I know you guys want your teams to dominate, but I'm hoping for just a good series and a good old-fashioned barn burner, and it seems like that's what we're getting. So we'll see what Game 3 has to offer tonight in the old World Series. Moving on to the fight we had this weekend. Alexis and I over the past months have talked here and there about this Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury fight, and Ngannou putting his career in his own hands and betting on himself and getting this bag and getting this fight, and what could he do, and he's going to get destroyed and da-da-da-da-da-da. For the fight itself, it's going to be a real quick explanation. We're going to talk about this more on the fight show this week. So if you want to see a more in-depth talk about this, me and Alexis will talk about it on the fight show. But I watched it. I didn't pay for it. Fuck Saudi Arabia. I didn't pay for it. I didn't. You know how I feel about Mohammed Bonesaw Man and how he likes to cut up reporters and put them in duffel bags and sneak them out of the embassies. You all know how I feel about that and how I feel about him throwing his money into our world sporting organizations to try to buy goodwill around this big blue marble. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do like athletes getting paid. Both these guys got paid, so more power to them. As a fight review, Tyson Fury came out real flat, real flaccid. Like, I mean, he said I trained longer for this than I did for Deontay Wilder, blah, 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 blah. He didn't. He didn't take him seriously. You could tell by the way Fury was fighting. It wasn't your same, unless he's really fallen off a cliff. And I guess we'll find out when he fights Alexander Usyk here in a few months. But unless Tyson Fury's skills really fell off a cliff, he did not take this fight seriously. Francis Ngannou, on the other hand, took this fight very seriously, and he came out looking like an actual boxer. And it went to decision. I know Alexis feels like the fix was in, and this thing was set up to be a decision, and we'll get his thoughts on that coming in. But say what you will about this fight as a whole, Francis Ngannou took it seriously, and against even a flaccid, flat Tyson Fury, definitely showed that he can hold his own in the boxing ring against top-ranked boxers. I'd like to see him against somebody else. I'd like to see him, boxing is corrupt. And again, this just proves, Alexis and I, what we always say, boxing sucks. If you like fighting, if you like combat sports, and you want to see who the best fighter, who the best combat athlete is, you got to watch MMA. If you want to see who puts together the best game plans, you got to watch MMA. You got to watch something where there's grappling, where there's kicks, where there's everything. When it's just two dudes standing there and it's punch, punch, hold, punch, punch, hold. That's boxing. It sucks. It sucks. This fight sucked. If it wasn't these two names, it was literally just to see how Ngannou was going to fare, and how much of a shit fest and how much of a fix and how much corruption was going to go on here at the beginning of Riyadh season. And that brings me to the opening ceremony. This fight card was such a fucking shit show. They had a boxing arena set up for every fight, and then they built a special arena just for this fight. Just for this fight, with a special ring that came up from the ground, and it was basically a theater that they built for this fight, and they had a opening ceremony that, after all the other fights before this fight started, it was basically a concert with Lil Baby and Becky G and a bunch of fucking people nobody gives a fuck about, and the thing lasted longer than this goddamn fight lasted. I sat there with the fight on, waiting to watch this fight for 2 hours before, from the fight before this till this fight started. It was like maybe 2 hours, maybe more. I don't know. I didn't keep track, but it was too fucking long. I almost turned it off because I was just like, do I even give a shit enough to even keep watching this? Of course I did, because I'm a fucking degenerate. I tell you guys all the time, but some people are like, some people like the spectacle. It was too much. It was too fucking much. It was a disgusting display of wealth that could be spread around the fucking world if Mohammed Bonesaw Man wanted to really buy some goodwill around the world. Don't put together this fucking just mockery. It was disgusting. It was fucking disgusting. I felt sick watching it. I was just like, let's watch these guys fight. People are tuning in to watch these guys fight, not to see how much fucking money you have to put the spectacle together. Take all the money you paid those rappers and those performers to perform for 2 fucking hours before this thing started, and spread it around the world. Fix some poverty some places, Bonesaw Man. But no, of course you're not going to do that. You're just going to buy up our sports, and you're going to put together a spectacle for Riyadh season. You're going to show everybody, look how much money I have. Don't you want to see me own everything? Because look what I'll do. I'll bring Lil Baby. He'll perform before every boxing match. We want to see the match. Like, Jesus Christ. It was just a literal disgusting show of wealth and power, and every 5 seconds the camera panning to him in the crowd, sitting next to his other bot pony, Ronaldo, and our excellency, his excellency, our host, our gracious host. Fuck that. I mean, obviously, I always say it, I want to see athletes get paid. I want to see athletes get paid what they're worth. I would have rather had Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury's salaries be quadrupled than have that performance, that opening ceremony, that display of look what I can do before this fight. I would rather have all that money go to these fighters or spread it around amongst the undercard fighters. They were there too, and there was a bunch of finishes, a bunch of exciting finishes. But I'm sure Lil Baby probably made more than the guy who knocked out the other guy in the co-main event. I'm sure Lil Baby, I'm sure he brought home a bag for lip syncing. I mean, I don't know. You may call me a hater, call me an old curmudgeon, call me whatever the fuck you want, but if you actually tuned into that thing and you thought that was cool, if you thought it was cool that they put on an outrageous, I mean, the amount of, and not just the cost for the performers, the screens, just the opulence of these performances, it would probably cost as much as a fucking Taylor Swift concert for the opening ceremony of the fight of the baddest man on the planet. It wasn't that. And you want to know who was in the crowd? Alexander Usyk. And you want to know who was looking at that Tyson Fury, chomping at the bit, licking his chops? Alexander Usyk. Because if that's what Tyson Fury is now, I'm going to eat his dick off. I'm going to bite it the fuck off. Because Alexander Usyk is a real fucking savage. And I say these same things about Tyson Fury, but not that Tyson Fury. So I said that was going to be a short explanation, but it wasn't that short. But you're going to get maybe even more impassioned on the Bungalow Fight Show this week when we talk about it. Good God. All right. Time to put on the glasses. NFL Week 8. Time to put on the glasses, baby. Because it's still football season. And we had some shit go down. Week 8 in the National Football League, we had the Carolina Panthers getting off the schneid and beating the Houston Texans 15-13. The Houston Texans, we thought they were rounding into form, putting some wins together, but now they've been beat by the lowly Panthers. And the who's better, Bryce Young or C.J. Stroud? The question still lingers. The New Orleans Saints defeat the Indianapolis Colts 38-27. Every time you think the Saints are down, they beat someone. Yeah, the Colts aren't all that, and my boy Gardner Minshew keeps throwing too many goddamn interceptions. But the Saints picking up another win. The Miami Dolphins trounced the New England Patriots 31-17. The Dolphins are who we think they are, but they got a big one coming up in Deutschland, Germany, next Sunday versus the Kansas City Chiefs. A Kansas City Chiefs team who just got absolutely annihilated by the Denver Broncos 24-9. They turned the ball over 5 times. And we all know the Broncos story this season, so that is an embarrassing loss for the Kansas City Chiefs. Russell Wilson, yeah, he threw a couple touchdowns, but let's see what happens next week. Let's not say Russ is back. I know some people might be thinking that, but I don't think that's the case. I think the Kansas City Chiefs turned the ball over a lot. I think Patrick Mahomes had the flu. And like I said, the Miami Dolphins versus Kansas City Chiefs next week in Germany. But the Dolphins destroy the Patriots to keep keep them at the top of the league. Tennessee Titans 28-23 over the Atlanta Falcons. Will Levis throws 5 touchdowns in his first start as a QB. Jeez Louise. They're not, or 4 or 5, I don't know, whatever stat guys get on me about that. And they weren't dink and doink touchdowns. He was throwing haymakers. He was throwing bombs. He was connecting. He was on point. If Will Levis can put another game like that together, I think Ryan Tannehill's time might be over in Tennessee. And he may be on the trade block heading to the Minnesota Vikings, some people might say. Minnesota Vikings beat the Green Bay Packers 24-10 in a game where our boy Kirk Cousins blows out his Achilles in a very similar fashion to our boy Aaron Rodgers, with the same slow-mo where you see that thing just pop in his calf. Very disgusting. In a win, the Vikings could see their season falling apart if it ever really got put together. But they do win big time against the lowly Packers, but they're going to need a new quarterback. My Rams just got annihilated 43-20 by the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys seem like they might be rounding into form. Their defense has always been there, but the inconsistency of Dak Prescott and that Cowboy offense is now starting to really put some points together. 43 against the Rams. And the Rams, they are who we thought they were. Maybe you thought they were going to be terrible. They're not terrible, but they're about as mediocre as you can get. And that's the story of their season. It's probably going to be the story of their season. A surprise story, the aforementioned Aaron Rodgers New York Jets with Zach Wilson under center win 13-10 over the lowly Giants. The Jets keep putting some wins together, and this was one of the ugliest but most entertaining games of the week. It was obviously 13-10, not a lot of points put on the board, but it was entertaining, and Zach Wilson had a little drive down the field to get them that field goal at the end. So maybe he's feeling himself a little bit, and maybe he's not as balls as we thought he was. Jacksonville Jaguars continue their dominance over the Pittsburgh Steelers, 20-10. Ever since Blake Bortles beat him in that playoff game so many years ago, the Jacksonville Jaguars have had the Steelers' number, and they still do. Kenny Pickett also hurt in that game, and the game was finished out by Mitch Trubisky, who we know isn't going to win you that many football games. Philadelphia Eagles squeak one out against the Washington Commanders in a game where A.J. Brown just continues his dominance as probably the best wide receiver in the league. But also Sam Howell, Washington Commanders quarterback Sam Howell, was only sacked once. I mean, the dude's got he's been sacked 30-something times already this season, but he's looking like a decent quarterback. I think Washington Commanders just need a new coach. I think Ron Rivera, Riverboat Ron, I just don't think he's it. I think he's out. I think he had Cam Newton and got people to a Super Bowl when maybe they shouldn't have so many years ago. And we all know in professional sports, if you can get a team to a championship or be a part of a team that gets to a championship, you get to be a coach for many, many years, even if you shouldn't be. And I think that's the case in Washington. Get them a new coach. And I think that team is a little different. The Seattle Seahawks defeat the Cleveland Browns 24-10. Obviously, the Browns don't have Deshaun Watson in. They got P.J. Walker in. Their defense is phenomenal, but it can only win you so many games. Sometimes you got to have some offense, and they didn't have the answer for the Seahawks. And the Seahawks had those sweet Steve Largent-esque uniforms on from, what was that, the 90s? Sweet uniforms. I wish they'd go back to those. Whether it was the uniforms, whether it was the Browns just not being that good, I don't know. The Seahawks stay in contention. What else? Baltimore Ravens defeat the Arizona Cardinals. Another battle of two bird teams. Cardinals stink. The Ravens probably should have beat them by more, but their defense is just blah, blah, but they do have Lamar Jackson in that offense pretty much clicking right now. And they just keep putting wins together. The Cincinnati Bengals defeat the San Francisco 49ers 31-17, and the Niners keep losing. They keep losing. What happened? What is going on? All of a sudden, Brock Purdy is looking very pedestrian, and maybe that's just the case when you don't have, Trent Williams You don't have Deebo Samuel. Your run game can't be what it is without those guys in there. And Mr. Irrelevant he's not looking like Mr. Irrelevant, but he is looking very mediocre, and maybe he has a concussion. And the Bengals seem like they're rounding into form after their slow start. Joe Burrow was on fucking fire yesterday. And the San Francisco Giants, I think they're going into a bye. They need to figure some shit out. They're going to need a win coming off this bye. Otherwise, things are going to be looking real bad. And then in last night's Sunday night game, Los Angeles Chargers just annihilated the Bears 30-13. Another exciting week of football, you know. And I always say it, when you're a guy like me, I mean, there's plenty of you out there. When your teams suck, I know my main team is a hockey team, but my football team is the Rams. When your team sucks, having parity, having different results, having teams like the Niners who started off crazy going down, having different teams looking good, winning games they shouldn't win, having teams like the Jets just keep holding on with a team that should be just completely out of contention. Having all these teams that are kind of still in the mix, having the good teams lose every once in a while, it's fun. It's fun for those of us who don't get to root for championships ever. Okay? So, if you're a fan of a good team and they got beat this week, if you're a fan of a good team and you're not getting the results you want, suck it. Because those of us whose teams suck, we like seeing this parity. And thank you, NFL, for providing another week of entertainment for us and shit for me to talk about on this sports show. All right, man. That's a show, but we got to do our shout out. Unfortunately, hold on, I got this weird thing popping up. Unfortunately, we have another death shout out. This week's shout out goes out to former Pittsburgh Penguins player, professional hockey player Adam Johnson. Just a crazy tragedy happened in the British Hockey League. His team, the Nottingham Panthers, playing a game on Saturday night, and he got into just a scrum. You know, people, it happens in hockey a lot. You go into the boards, you go run into each other, people end up bodies flying everywhere. He got his throat cut by a skate. It's happened before, obviously not to this extent. People getting cut by hockey skates, but he passed away on Saturday night. Yeah, dude, just so tragic, you know. Hockey fan or not, sports fan or not, it's just a goddamn tragedy when you know, literally the game you love, your dream, your entire life. And it's what takes your life. And it's a freak accident, like I said, in a game where people wear razor blades on their feet and you're on ice slipping all over the place. You'd think people would get cut more. It doesn't happen. Statistically, it doesn't happen. And, of course, this is just an absolute freak tragedy. And everybody here at the Bungalow, everybody at Peak One Sports Network, our thoughts and you know, everything we go out, everything, our hearts go out to everybody. You know, obviously Adam Johnson's family, the Nottingham Panthers, everybody, friends, family of this guy. He made it to the show. He was still playing pro hockey, living his goddamn dream, and you know, he went out a pro. It's all there is to say about it, man. Pretty shocking, pretty crazy, devastatingly incredible in a way that is just like, what? Like, Jesus, fuck, dude, that's crazy. So yeah, Adam Johnson, we salute you, man. Happy you got to play in the show. Happy you got to see your dreams come true. But we are all very, very, very sorry that it ended this way for you. But shout out, buddy. All right. Always ending this thing on a bummer, man. I tried to keep it light the last few weeks. We had Simone Biles, we had the Sphere, but death always seems to creep its way back into the shout-outs. But you know what? The shout-outs are there for a reason, and a lot of times people taken away from us too early, and especially around the sports world, this being a sports-related show. Matthew Perry from Friends also died this weekend. I guess I should have put him in the shout-outs, but, sports guy died, so... And in a crazy, crazy way. So he wins. He wins. Fuck, dude. That was... Shouldn't have said that. He didn't win. That's a show. Thank you for watching. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Please subscribe. If you're watching this right now and you are not subscribed to the Peak One Sports Network on YouTube, go subscribe. Go follow Peak One Sports, the Bungalow Sports Show on all social media. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, all that shit. Peak One Sports, Bungalow Sports Show. Follow us everywhere. Please, we give you this shit for free. I love doing it, but we love seeing the numbers go up and up, and the more the numbers go up, the more good content we can bring you. And also our sponsors, thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Betalytics, League Swipe, Shank It Golf. Everybody, thank you. Support the sponsors. Support those who support us. And until next week, enjoy your sports.